Well, a busy day of football continues here from Charlottesville High School. We have seen some exciting under-23 action on this field, directly followed by the match between the two women's sides of these two organizations. And now the men will meet in the final contest of a very busy day here on this final day of May 2025. Welcome to Sports Engine Play, bringing you some USL2 action between the visiting Virginia Beach United and the Charlottesville Blues. Your hosts for the evening. Marshall Lamert is my name. I'll be joined shortly by Camille Gutt, and he is absolutely entitled to take his time getting back up to the press box, considering what a busy day of commentary he has had, and he'll join me for some color here very shortly. But if this is your first match tuning in, the background on these two teams, they are entering today on equal point totals in the Chesapeake division of USL2. Both teams on 5 points, but the visitors have played one less match than the hosting Blues. Charlottesville 5 points from 4 matches. The win coming a couple weeks ago at Christos FC. 2 draws on the year. One was at home against Northern Virginia to start the year. That one ended 0-0. And the other one was last time out, a little bit earlier on this week, 2-2 versus the Virginia Marauders. And then finally, the one loss coming in their last home match against a very good Annapolis Blues team. That one finished in heartbreaking fashion for the home side, 2-1. As for Virginia Beach United, 5 points on 3 matches so far, yet to lose on the young season. They drew against Lionsbridge, the division leaders, for the first match of the year back on the 10th of May. Micah Wayland and Alexander Moody were the goal scorers in that one. The win came against Patuxent, 1-0, thanks to a Baxter Hurt goal. And then finally, last time out on their third match of the year, they drew against that very same Northern Virginia side, 0-0. Just about ready to get things underway from Charlottesville High School Stadium. Blues, a great result earlier on in the week, but they are still searching for that second win of the season to try to assert themselves here in the division. Ditto for Virginia Beach United, and away we go. Blues on the ball first, pass a little bit heavy from Josh Yoder, and ball conceded to the visitors. Nice interception here by Yoder. Tries to deliver it up to Nick Simmons in attack for Charlottesville. Comes up empty, but the Blues do find a way back on the ball very quickly. Here's Robert Sloan. Over to Josh Yoder. And Donovan Marriott entering the center of defense as of last week's contest. Speaking with Tommy Denuzzo before the game, just a little bit of a change in personnel despite keeping the shape the same for the defensive side of the ball. Marriott entering alongside Josh Yoder and Jay Say Bailey. Of course, the man between the sticks, though, remaining the same. The man with the number 1 shirt in Colin Gallagher. Long ball looking for Mo Tucker. But a timely intervention by Somber Paul finds Tucker still on the ball, but he's dispossessed despite a neat attempt at footwork there. And now here comes United. This is Sharif Muhammad on the ball. Over to Alexander Moody. Is on the score sheet so far this season for United. Delivery pretty handily intercepted, though, by Marriott, and that's knocked away for a Virginia Beach United throw. Virginia Beach also looking for their second win of the season. One last match they've played in, though, and it's always a question of chemistry this earlier on in the year, because you don't know how often that you've played together. You don't really know how you play together as a unit, and chemistry, as you know, so important in soccer. Blues trying to find their way forward in a tight battle here in midfield, but United able to hold firm. It's a nice delivery forward here for PK Stoffel. But a timely intervention from Marriott using his physicality and height to exert some dominance on the ball there. Sloan's able to knock that long, looking for Mo Tucker, but Tucker didn't quite get started quick enough to get on the other end of that. And here comes United once more. Good interception here from Sloan. Tries to deliver up to Graham Dougal, the captain. Pass trying to get in behind Yoder, but some neat defending is going to clear it up for Gallagher to knock that one away for a Virginia Beach throw. But the visitors starting to look threatening here 3 minutes into this one. Here's Jonathan Lighting to take this throw. Sets, throws into the box. Marriott and Sloan both there. And Marriott with some neat footwork able to clear that one away. Looking for Simmons. And the big, tall, powerful Simmons does find his way onto the ball, and a neat 1-2, opening it up for Mo Tucker's speed. And now here comes the Blues for the first time on attack. Here's Dougal. Already one goal on the record against Christos this season. A speculative attempt from distance is parried away by the Virginia Beach defense, and it is the first corner of the game for the Blues. Dougal, the man with a terrific engine, according to his coach. Well earned, not only the captain's armband, but the number of starts that he has received and the number 10 shirt. Corner to be taken here. What kind of in-swinger will they be able to muster? Here it is. And it's parried away nicely by the Virginia Beach keeper, Griffin Potter, but only as far as the defenders who have played much further up than they likely would have expected. So Marriott was one change in defense that Tommy DiNuzzo was looking to make. The other was Marcus Nana Sinkam. You saw him getting involved on the last defensive stand. Here's Dougal. Nice little interplay here between him, Paul, and Tucker. The whistle goes, and it will be a free kick for the Blues. Dougal taking his time to set this one up. Hopefully that last defeat at home, not too fresh in the mind for these Blues. Out of sight, out of mind. Had a solid, if frustrating, result earlier in the week against the Virginia Marauders. Dougal and Tucker both over this one. Tucker will take it on his left foot and put a little bit too much on it, but it will break Charlottesville's way. It will be a throw-in. And stepping in to take this one, the first time I have called his name all day, Suleiman Abdul Mateen, goal-scoring leader for the Blues so far this season, has scored twice, and a dynamic winger indeed. That's knocked away by the Virginia Beach defense. Here's Stoffel, breaking at pace here. What can United set up? Down the left wing. Now this is looking promising. I like the idea with the 1-2, looking for the through ball, trying to get Samuel Murphy involved, but no dice, and the Blues defense will gobble that one up. That one looking for Nick Simmons. But United still pressing high. Here's Moody. Now Stoffel. Good passing here. They're sending it around. Graham Dougal is still down towards midfield. Now the training staff is going to come out and take a look at him. He's on one knee, if you can see him in the center of your picture. He's almost all stood up, but looks to be some kind of ankle issue. Now he's standing. Looks to be all right, but you definitely don't want to trifle, especially when it comes to your captain. Such a central figure in this Blues side is Dougal. He's going to walk off the field. Let the training staff take a look at him. Just make sure he's all right. No substitution to be made yet. Blues will, I believe, temporarily go down to 10 men. And now it will be United ball. Dougal is taking his shirt off. We may be looking to see a substitution here. And in the meantime, the Blues will have to defend shorthanded. United coming with pace. Here's Lighting. Delivery comes down to Thomas Campbell. Campbell tries with the touch to get around Marriott, but there is a lot of body in the way. And the touch was too heavy. Easy work for Colin Gallagher at the end of the day in the Charlottesville net. This might be a little bit of a lengthy time on the sidelines for Dougal, if indeed he does come back on. Now here's Tucker. Tucker still keeping his feet. An excellent job. Now Marriott. Down the right wing. Simmons with him in the center of midfield. Marriott once more. Approaching the 10-minute mark of this one, 0-0 our score. No quality chances to speak of for either side, despite a free kick and a corner for the Blues in the opposing half. What a header there by Paul. Unfortunately, nothing and no one nearby. But he does do enough to win himself a free kick. Another free kick inside of the attacking third for Charlottesville. What can they make out of this? This is not a Syncom. Say Bailey going down the right flank of defense. Robert Sloan is the left back. And then Marriott and Marcus Syncom in the middle. No Luke Madden after some health issues in the previous few matches. Dougal will re-enter, so that's a big sigh of relief for Tommy DiNuzzo and his men. Free kick taken short. Sloan. Down to Tucker. Tucker now. Trying to find the cross. No way through. Gives it back out to Dougal. He'll try with the right wing, looking for Paul, and that's parried away on the head of the United defender. United again trying to play out of the back with some speed. Here's Lighting, and he stepped out. Definitely did not think that he did, but he definitely did towards midfield. Sloan will take the throw. Been a solid first 10 minutes of this one for Tommy DiNuzzo's side. They'll likely be encouraged by the pressure they've been able to put on their opponents. Here's Zombra Paul, the big Hungarian. Delivers up to Nick Simmons. Simmons, this is nice from Abdul Mateen. He'll lay it off for, say, Bailey, but unfortunately he was just a little too tardy on the run to try to carry that attack out. And it goes out, Virginia Beach ball. Talked about the defense changes that Charlottesville wanted to make. Beginning in the midweek contest, Nick Simmons has turned into quite the partner for Zombra Paul up top. Coach DiNuzzo praising the strength and power of those two attackers in particular and the dimension that is added to his attacking strategy when they are on the pitch at the same time. And indeed they are here. Simmons will float sort of as a attacking mid, center forward kind of role, even sort of a second striker if you like. Paul is more the Puskas-esque center forward. 10 minutes gone here on Sports Engine Play. 0-0 our score from Charlottesville High School between Charlottesville Blues FC and Virginia Beach United. Here's Robert Sloan, the left back, on the ball. Through ball looking for Tucker, but that was read well by Lighting. Jonathan Lighting now delivers it back to Jack Lewis. Now the defender Baxter Hurt is on the scoreboard so far this season. Had the deciding goal last time out for United. Now Lighting. Easily intercepted there by Sloan, but still under pressure, needs to make a play and does. Here's Yoder. Out to Marriott. Marriott looks long down the right wing, looking for Sulaiman Abdul Mateen, but pass wasn't quite where it needed to be. Again, the goal-scoring threats for this United side. Alexander Moody is the big one. He, you will find in the center of midfield. Likely we'll be calling his name more and more as he grows into this game. Micah Wayland is not starting tonight, though. You may be seeing him a little bit later on. This is a neat pass here from Paul. Down to Abdul Mateen. Can he keep it in? Not quite. And it will be a Virginia Beach ball. Now here's Lewis charging forward for Virginia Beach. Pass goes errant, though, and just like that, the Blues are back on the ball. But only as I say that, they're able to turn it around, and it's really going end-to-end here in midfield. Pass is going to get delivered, though, to Nick Simmons. Simmons with a long effort from distance that was not far off. Instant impact. And that does make things quite a bit more interesting with the size and speed combination of Simmons to go along with the big Hungarian pole. Tucker, who has played a lot of left wing back up to this point in the year, now shifting much more on the wing side of back, playing more of a left midfield role. Nice interplay between him and Dougal here. Tucker tracks into midfield, has some defensive help here. Here's Nana Singcom. Marriott with him. Marriott taking his time. Now to say Bailey. Does keep it in, but can't find a friendly pair of boots. And now United breaking with pace. It was looking like Campbell was trying to charge on the end of that one, but that was well read by the Charlottesville defense. Now as this season is wearing on, these Blues are looking very in sync with one another. Communication does appear to be much, much better than it has been in the last few matches. Here's Dougal. Keeps it alive. Moody. Trying to harass him just a little bit, so Dougal will give it away to Yoder, and then now to Marriott. Marriott will look long, but that's knocked down by Stoffel. Neat little back heel to try to set something up, and the flag is up. Not sure if they've seen it yet. And now they've seen it. Charlottesville ball, and definitely some argument, especially on the side of Moody. He definitely thought he was on, but not sure what he hopes to gain from making that argument. Approaching the 15-minute mark here in this one. Gallagher steps up, trying to set something up here in attack. His Blues definitely the much better side in the attacking third. Playing with some confidence and some verve now. Gallagher ready to rumble, and he sends this long. Finds Paul's head just a bit high. And it will ping-pong to his opposite number, Griffin Potter, whose name I have not had to call a whole lot yet in this first quarter of the match. Charlottesville looks strong in setting up chances, but hasn't really required much of an intervention from number 30 in the green in the Virginia Beach net. Lifted high into midfield. Tracked well by Dougal. Marriott assisting. And the Blues were looking to try to turn that one around again, but United will win the battle in midfield this time. Say Bailey. Great defense to hold off his man. And the Blues will earn yet another free kick. These wingers trying desperately to get involved in the play for United, but they just haven't been able to find a way in past the stalwart fullback defense of the home side. Here's Mo Tucker. Dispossessed handily there by Alexander Moody, but ran out of space. And it will be a Charlottesville throw. Sloan, a little bit of a communication breakdown there between him and Nana Singcom, and now here comes United. Ball just a little bit heavy, and excellently closed down by Robert Sloan before Thomas Campbell can take the touch and set up the shot at goal. 16 minutes gone, 0-0 our score. Goal kick Charlottesville. A resolute defensive effort here from Charlottesville has really allowed some promising build-up play at the other end, but nothing to show for it as of yet. Zomber Paul, Nicholas Simmons, and United's fullbacks will take a turn to get involved here. That was Samuel Murphy charging forward, but they almost lost the ball there. But this is going to go to Baxter Hurt. Jonathan Lighting. Moody. Campbell. Bad pass from Campbell, and Paul will intercept, but he is Going to be assisted in the nick of time by Graham Dougal, the box-to-box midfielder. Probing this Virginia Beach defense is Charlottesville so far. Sloan tries to get away. And infraction might have been called here, it looks like. No, I don't think the whistle went. As Lighting and Campbell checking on each other, make sure they're all right. And now I need to trust my instincts as the whistle did go here. It'll be free kick United just behind midfield in their side of the pitch. They're really trying to favor that run in towards the center. They're betting heavily on their abilities to puncture Nana Sincom and Marriott alongside Yoder, but that three-man effort has been pretty splendid up to this point in time. It's been a fairly predictable attacking threat, and Gallagher, as a result, has not had to do all that much. We'll see if that changes if one of these parts of the blue wall starts to break down as this match wears on. United does have some pace, and that does naturally lend itself to a degree of threat. But pace has essentially all it's been, as the passing has not really been the best, nor the instincts. Here's Josh Yoder. Donovan Marriott. Blues defense content to really waste a little bit of time here. They're trying to draw as many members of this United side forward as they can to try to use the pace of their own to play it in long. You have seen a lot of long balls being played here by Colin Gallagher in the early going for Charlottesville. They haven't really tested themselves charging through the middle on foot yet, favoring the air attack largely. Say Bailey now. Looks for the big head of Paul. Throw goes a bit high. Nana Sincom arriving to assist. He gives it back to Dougal. Marriott gets it away, and is some space for Robert Sloan. Sloan now trying to set the attack up. This goes to Simmons. Simmons. It's a good pass back to Sloan, and he draws a foul and a free kick. And it was going to be a question of when these tempers started to flare, and here it is. And a card has been shown. Card's going to be shown to Nick Simmons, though, I believe, due to the late push on Alexander Moody.
The card has been issued to Charlottesville's number 21, Nicholas Simmons. Number 21, Nicholas Simmons, in the 20th minute.
Yeah, it is an understanding flaring of the temper, but, you know, unfortunately, you're obligated to keep your cool in a situation like that. Simmons, unfortunately, did not do that. And as a result, the free kick will be taken short, and the midfielder's name goes into the book. Bad pass by Moody, though, gives the ball right back to Charlottesville, and they'll try again, as if nothing happened. 20 minutes gone, a third of the way through this match. 0-0 our score. Charlottesville and Virginia Beach duking it out here at Charlottesville High School. Marshall Emmert taking you through the action here on this Saturday evening. Another beautiful weather day. 3 home matches for this Charlottesville Blues men's side and 3 stunning evenings on which to play them. Josh Yoder. Pressure coming, but calmly is just eschews the attempt at Sharif Muhammad to dispossess him. Great footwork from Donovan Marriott there. Yoder. Say Bailey. Tries to play in Abdul Mateen, but a little bit of a communication breakdown there. Well, so far, Charlottesville's defense has looked strong and looked as though they've been playing in sync, but we're looking for a similar style of communication in attack if you are a member of the home fan base. So far, so good for Virginia Beach United. They haven't looked threatening in attack, but they have been able to keep Charlottesville's forwards quiet. Paul. Say Bailey. Abdul Mateen tries to turn, nothing doing. Does earn the throw in front of midfield. And you can rely on, to use a boxing metaphor, the rope-a-dope technique here in the early goings of the first half. If your plan is to tire the opposition out and then use your legs in the last third, it's a risky strategy, but it does pay off if done correctly. Naturally, that remains to be seen if that is head coach Chris Mills' plan for this very smartly dressed United side. Yoder to Marriott. Marriott looks long. Simmons might have started his run just a hair too early, and indeed he did. He overran it, did try to head it back in the direction of someone friendly. Nothing there. Good back heel there from Moody. United charging forward. But the triple team is effective as Zomber Paul charging into midfield, delivers off to his captain, Dugald. Abdul Mateen to the edge of the 18-yard box. Save Bailey. Abdul Mateen. Good move, does find a way past his man. Can he find a cross? Not quite. Well closed down. And the final attempt from Nana Singham to find Tucker. Comes up empty. Here's United again. It was a good attempt by PK Stoffel just to knock that one forward and hope somebody with some speed was able to get on the other end of that. But nothing doing. Pace remains reserved at the moment. Near 25 minutes gone, 0-0 our score. Charlottesville has had the lion's share of the possession. But so far, nothing to show for their strong efforts. Abdul Mateen tries to take it himself, does have some people with him, and he is keeping his feet and earns the free kick. Sulaiman Abdul Mateen, the leading scorer on this Blues team. Pair of goals so far. Did get the first one against the Annapolis Blues last time out here at home in the 2-1 defeat, and did score in Wednesday's match against the Marauders. Zomber Paul, the other man who scored for Charlottesville. Graham Dugald has the only other goal for the Blues. First goal of the 2025 season against Christos, and that was the decider a little earlier on in this month. Free kick of defense. Here is Dugald. And they're going to set that one back up. Talking with Tommy Denuzzo before the game, I spoke with him and sort of started the conversation off with, hey, I thought it was a good result last week. And he looked at me incredulously, as if even a little flabbergasted that I phrased it that way. He did naturally clarify why, as he really thought, and not unfairly so, that match easily could have finished 4-2, as opposed to how well his men were attacking. Just a number of times that they were bailed out by a decent Marauders defense that did end up suffering 2 losses due to 2 men going into the referee's book towards the end of the match. And then pointed to 2 goals that he really, really wish had not been conceded. Just some definitely avoidable goals that ended up resulting in a very frustrating draw. So definitely some positives to take from that match. But he, again, not unfairly so, would like to have seen more, as would the Blues fan base. And my partner has joined me in the broadcast booth. He's just getting himself set up here, as that one will trickle out for a Charlottesville goal kick. Good evening, Camille Gut. You've been a busy man today.
Absolutely. Happy to be back here with you, Marshall, on the men's broadcast.
Good.
0-0. And around this time was when the women's conceded their first goal in that 3-0 loss. Was talking to head coach Nick Regan post-match, and a lot of frustration between the women's side with the men trying to turn things around on the night on this doubleheader. and pick up their first home win. And they'd love to get things going in this first half.
Yeah, so far so good. You've caught a little bit of it on the sideline here as you've been doing one of your many tasks, the many hats that you wear for this organization. They've looked a better side so far against United.
Absolutely. I was down there by the left end where the Blues are attacking, and there was a lot of action there. The atmosphere is certainly there with the drummers, and the home crowd it's a decent crowd here at Charlottesville High School Stadium. And yeah, there's been a lot of attacking opportunities, specifically I feel like down the left-hand side from my vantage point, but I think you have a better view of it for sure in these first 28 minutes.
Yeah, we're fortunate in our view in the press box here. About the only part of the field that is obscured is the bottom left-hand corner from your vantage point, watching at home. So we have to crane our necks a little bit to see if a corner is conceded in that area and how it looks when it is, but we have a pretty solid view of probably 97% of the field or so from up here. And again, pass goes just a little bit errant, but it is kept in by United. Here is Jonathan Lighting. Over to Thomas Campbell. He's made some threatening runs, but has not been able to place a threatening shot on target yet. Good, resolute defensive work from the Blues. And the changes that Tommy DiNuzzo has made in the last two matches seem to have paid off.
Absolutely. And while we weren't on the broadcast in their midweek away match at the Marauders, Zomber Paul finally got his first goal. Not sure if you mentioned that on the broadcast, but wanted to fit that in there as he gets the start here tonight. And he's had other really good looks in the other home games the Blues have had, but hasn't been able to convert those. So good for him to get off the mark. And he's got the big role here as the number 9 tonight.
Really good power and physicality. And that was something that, again, I was talking with Coach DiNuzzo before the game. I presented the fact that it seemed as though they were really struggling for strength and power in front of goal to kind of find an angle in those scrums with all sorts of defenders trying to close down every angle. When you have someone like Paul, who is so strong and so tall, alongside Nick Simmons, who has really added a great new dimension to the attack, a lot more success can be had. And a good half an hour of football so far, especially in the attacking third, despite no goals. Throw-in coming here from United. This is Lighting setting up to take. Lighting, for his part, doing a very good job closing down Mo Tucker for the most part, who has been able to play a little bit higher. And it will be a substitution in net. Interesting play here. Colin will exit for his brother Ryan, who wears the 0 shirt. And we'll see if we can get some clarification as to why that change was made as soon as we can. But for right now, a threatening moment here for United in attack. And Alexander Moody able to win a free kick.
They'll surely have some banter about that post-match, or maybe in passing right there. If
so.
You never want to be substituted, but if you are going to be, I think your brother's not a bad replacement for sure.
If you trust him, and both men have excellent experience at the collegiate level in indisputably the hardest position on the pitch.
Absolutely, an unforgiving position.
Moody will sit up to take this one for United.
And Ryan will be tested immediately here, trying to get his wall in the right place.
Alongside another one of his defenders, Luis Edmondson, who's not had his name called yet on this broadcast. Edmondson will take it himself. It's not a bad effort, but Gallagher had a little trouble corralling it initially before he's able to get both hands on it. If that had been a little bit higher, that might have been a very difficult shot to save.
Yeah, just a bit of a spillage there. Not as sharp, obviously, coming in, but gets through it, and hopefully will be better for it.
That was the first quality chance, really, that we've seen from United. And already the Blues trying to turn it around. Pressure on the visiting defense, but nothing doing. And now here is Baxter Hurt. mentioned a couple times, Camille, Virginia Beach is number 4. A strong goal-scoring threat, already won on the year, had the deciding goal last time out for Virginia Beach United.
And Virginia Beach has had a myriad of results, kind of
varied results, to be sure.
Yeah, the draw against Lionsbridge, the win against Tucson, and just like the Blues did, a 0-0 draw against Nova, which has been kind of their theme so far this season.
Well, Nova's defense quite a frustrating unit to try and break down. I think at this point in the season, it's a point of pride if you do manage to keep a clean sheet, and they have done that many, many times before. Here's Dugald. Looks to set something up into a little bit of space here. Forward here to Sloan. Sloan is onside, and now a chance at attack for the Blues. 2 men will close him down, and it will be a Charlottesville throw. Sloan to take. What can they set up from this angle? Tucker, and the touch was poor, and they'll concede possession over. Blues with the lion's share of the possession. We lack the precise tools to track it in the press box here, but given it the old eye test, I'd say it's closer to 60-65%. And that's being conservative with it, really. Just a lot of the passes going into the attacking third for United have just been poor and wayward and quick, clumsy as it were. That will hopefully change for the quality of the football's sake going into the second half. But no quality chances for the Blues forwards in their attacking third either, and that was a little bit of a heavy challenge, and looks as though that's Donovan Marriott down on the ground. And Sharif Muhammad has been quite physical over the course of this game and has escaped the book a number of times, not that time. 2 names in the book for tonight's refereeing crew so far. Simmons for Charlottesville and Muhammad now for United. 10 minutes remaining here in this first half. 0-0 our score between Charlottesville and Virginia Beach here at Charlottesville High. It's a nice pass here to Paul. Tries to lay that one off for Simmons or Tucker. Doesn't find either of them. And now, United coming once again. Of either contingent, United's defense has had a much better half than their attackers so far. Good move there from Moody to shake off the pressure there. Little zigzag pattern. Now United's starting to take their time in the attacking third. Here's Lighting. Lays off to Campbell. Campbell looks to find the cross. Tucker and Sloan closing him down. Lays it off for Lighting. It's a threatening cross, but does not reach a friendly foot, and it'll be Charlottesville ball after a good clearance. Simmons, though, will have to knock that one away under pressure, and it will be a United throw.
Easing their way into this game in the final phases of the second half, but I feel like it's been, maybe as you alluded to, Marshall, a bit of a physical game in the midfield at the very least. I saw from the sideline the captain Dugald go down for a moment, but good to see him get back up. He's been instrumental in this team's success so far this season.
Indeed, a very lucky break and a very good pass there from Nick Simmons, just a bit heavy, and that would have reached Mo Tucker, and a timely intervention from Griffin Potter is going to clear that one away. Charlottesville throw near midfield, Sloan to take. Inside of 10 minutes to play here in this first half. Neither side finding the first goal here in this one. But most of the quality chances for United coming in the last 5 minutes or so. The Blues remain threatening down the flanks, but have had trouble penetrating the center of defense. And again, Muhammad getting a little energetic with a member of the Charlottesville defense, this time Josh Yoder. Yoder over to Marriott. Marriott under pressure. Good pressing here from United here in this recent spell. Hurt. Knocked wide for Campbell, and the pass was poor. Jack Lewis has been bouncing around and creating some very interesting and intriguing opportunities to start some attacks, but again, the passing lacking. Yoder to Marriott. Marriott looks to be setting up for another long ball. He'll hold on this occasion. Delivers off to Yoder. Say Bailey. Back to Gallagher. And that's going to get knocked in to the visiting bleachers for a United throw. That's sent into Moody. Delivered back to Lewis. Say Bailey gets his head on into it. And now here comes United, though. Say Bailey able to handle that one without too much trouble, not giving Samuel Murphy the opportunity that he would like. And it will be a Charlottesville throw. That one from Say Bailey looking for Simmons. It finds Muhammad. Muhammad gives back to Lewis. Lewis, Moody, Murphy. Back to Lewis. Trying to find the cross. This one is not too bad. Forces an intervention, out of Gallagher. It was a little bit of an unorthodox way to stop that one. He was diving to his right a little bit earlier, but he was able to get his left hand up there and knock that one down in front of him.
Yeah, it was tested right away on that free kick, and yeah, like you said, unconventional way of dealing with that one, but he's going to have to ease himself into this game just as well. But a bad giveaway there.
Yeah, poor giveaway from Gallagher, but pressure from Nana Sincom is able to save the day. He delivers over to Yoder. Yoder and he trying to fight their way out of the midfield, unable to do so. Here's Muhammad. Over to Jonathan Lighting. Campbell wide open down the right flank. But they haven't seen him yet. No, perhaps not. Muhammad now delivers to Campbell into some space. Tries to find his way past Robert Sloan unsuccessfully, but he does concede the first corner of the game for United. Now, what can they do from this one? That will be left for Franco Trodati to take.
Just needs a good ball in. This could be another nervy moment for Gallagher to deal with.
Trodati on his left foot. Good towards the near post. Good save, though, by Gallagher. Now can the Blues find their way out? No, they cannot. Closed down very quickly by Trodati. Trodati will keep the pressure on here. Lovely back heels and good movement here from United. Excellent work there from Stoffel. Some neat, calm, easy footwork. This one comes into Trodati again. No way through. Has Lewis with him, but this now, it's broken with pace. Sulaiman Abdul-Mateen trying to get something started. But a timely intervention will knock that one out and stop the attack in its tracks. Charlottesville throw. Here's Marquis Nana-Sincom, only for a second. United coming once again. Blues just sort of taking their foot off the gas a little bit. Inside of 5 minutes to play plus stoppage time. And, that would have been mighty threatening if Thomas Campbell was able to corral that one. But the pass was a bit too far, and Charlottesville bailed out of trouble. Sloan, a delivery out to Paul. Paul can't break free. Tucker will send that back into the United half. Paul with a good tackle, but could not quite break cleanly from Baxter Hurt.
And as you said, Virginia Beach certainly building its way into this match as we approach halftime, but there's always going to be phases in every game, basically, where teams will trade blows, even if one team like the Blues in this instance are holding more of the possession. But the Blues coming off that midweek match, meanwhile, Virginia Beach has had about a week and a half of rest since its last match. So you can see that maybe that is starting to kind of grow into the outcome of the end of this first half.
It is definitely possible. But, Camille, while you were down on the sideline, I was talking with the audience, alluding to the possibility that we may be looking at a sort of rope-a-dope idea in terms of tactics from this United side. And I'm a little worried that I may have provided a commentator's jinx here on this one, as United has taken its time and is now finding their way into this match towards the last few minutes of the first half.
Fans, with 2 minutes left in regulation in the first half, a reminder that the clock will stop at 45 minutes. We'll let you know if there'll be any extra time on the field. The official time is kept on
Here's
the field
Moody.
by the referee. The clock will stop
Looking for the corner here on Mo
at
Tucker.
time.
On the left foot. Very good, and it's a goal! What a goal, and Thomas Campbell has had his patience rewarded after making threatening run after threatening run after threatening run, and a moment of brilliance from their talismanic midfielder Alexander Moody finds the head of Campbell. A great header, is able to sneak that one below the hands of Ryan Gallagher, and United leads 1-0.
An absolutely beautiful ball in from Moody. I was just about to mention his name in the few moments that I've had since coming up. He's clearly been showing his class, not even just in midfield. He's been finding pockets of the pitch to just control the game from, and took the space that was given into him, and that's the service you need from your captain to make the difference. And it seemed to me like the far side referee or close side referee signals for a potential offside. It was a little bit tight, but I guess they talked it over and the goal will stand.
And indeed it will. There was a moment of suspense there, but I think from our vantage point, it did look clear, fair, and square. That is Campbell's first goal on the year. Another contribution for Alexander Moody, who has done his part in all aspects of play today. Showed his quality, his skill, but also his passion and his energy, and his determination to try to find his way through past a very good Charlottesville defense that has had a great half despite the concession, has ended up paying off. Found the right man in the right moment who took the right shot, and the result, 1-0 to the visitors. Into stoppage time here now. And Moody with a very long throw. Looking for goal number 2 before the end of the half. Might be just enough time for the Blues to try to break with some pace as Simmons goes down, and a bad tackle from what looked like it may have been Muhammad.
It's a straight red.
It is a second yellow for Muhammad, and despite going 1-0 up towards the end of the half, Virginia Beach United will go down to 10 men.
Wow, excuse me. As you said, second yellow, and that's a tough blow after obviously getting that lead going into halftime, and that completely changes everything for the Blues in this perspective of trying to come back. And of course, they have all this time to work with during halftime to assess how best to exploit this extra man that they will have.
Well, the whistle has not gone yet, and one moment of brilliance may yet turn this match around again. On a Sincom. Sends that one into the box. Marriott, and able to corral it. Simmons will lay it off, but Campbell will knock that one free. Or excuse me, that was Stoffel knocking that one free. That's probably the extent of the action here in this first half. Throw will be taken quickly into Sloan. We did have a lengthy stoppage due to the Dougal injury. Marriott towards the box, threatening but too far, and Potter will go down and slow the attack down even more. Did necessitate an intervention because Zomber Paul very easily could have tied this match up if the ball in had a little bit less power. Not a Sincom. And turning on it was Nick Simmons, but he couldn't quite get his feet onto the ball before the whistle goes to end the first half of play. Well, Charlottesville will likely be kicking themselves considering how good a half that they had on defense and in midfield. But slowly and surely, the visitors probed the defense, getting further and further and further in until a moment of brilliance from Alexander Moody finds the head of Thomas Campbell and gives Virginia Beach United a well-earned lead over the Charlottesville Blues. But can they keep the lead with just 10 men? We will find out in 20 minutes' time. You are watching USL2 action between the Charlottesville Blues and Virginia Beach United here on Sports Engine Play. We will be back for much more after the interval. Second half action about to begin here from Charlottesville High School. 1-0 our score. Thomas Campbell, the right winger for Virginia Beach United in the red on your screen, has been the difference. And he struck at just the right moment, but not before his team went down to 10 men. So how long will they be able to keep the lead against the hosting Charlottesville Blues FC? Marshall Emmert, Camille Gutt, bringing you the second half of action here from Charlottesville High School. And this has been a really good half of football for Charlottesville so far, Camille. But again, they do have a way back into this game. It will be hard to score 2 goals against this defense, but not impossible.
Absolutely. A good first half performance. Now against 10 men, we'll see if Virginia Beach, how they decide to approach this. If they sit in at all, if they try to maybe take their chances on the counter or whatnot, but absolutely the more clinical side in the first half, and that's all that matters on the scoreboard at the moment. But the Blues will certainly have a lot of the ball and will look to equalize quickly to try and put even more pressure on the visitors.
No changes so far, but we're discussing off air in the second half, maybe perhaps a formation shape might help things a little bit to give Zomber-Paul a little bit more help up top. Nick Simmons can be that. He functions more in an attacking midfield role, but moving him up to a second striker may prove fruitful, but time will tell.
It seems like he's being given the freedom to do that at certain points, but as the ball comes onto this right-hand side, dropping in a little bit to pull some attention away from Paul.
Yeah, Sharif Muhammad, the man who went into the referee's book, 2 yellows. That has forced an early end to his shift today. So the absence in midfield, will it be felt for United? Now, Marquis Nanasinka. Back to Josh Yoder. And now Ryan Gallagher. Substitution made about midway through that first half as his brother Colin took a seat. We don't really know why. At least from our vantage point up here, there did not appear to be anything wrong. But the change made, and it looms large, at least until the Blues manage to knot this game up, if indeed they're able to do that. Griffin Potter will take a second and wait for Paul to charge him before he picks the ball up.
Blues fans, just because it's a home game doesn't mean you need to
10 men, yes, but the visitors with the momentum and control of the match up to this point. They control the clock and have the advantage in terms of the goal. They can definitely look for another with the right pass. Here's Samuel Murphy. Looked for his captain, Moody, but Moody, good footwork, able to pick up after himself on the dispossession. Here he is again. Tries to turn, but not a Sincom equal to it. Now a collision between him and Abdul Mateen. Sincom able to get it away. Keeps it alive for Charlottesville. Dougal dropping back to help in defense. Graham Dougal, the captain. Long ball looking for Mo Tucker. Looks to be weighed properly, and not quite.
You can see that switch is there, and it's going to be on the Blues to pick up the tempo, make sure that United doesn't really have too many stoppages in play, because immediately I don't think United is going to adopt this mindset of just trying to sit on the sleeve for 45 minutes. But as the time creeps down, I think just naturally as you get more tired, that's what this game will become, and it's on the Blues to get on the board before that happens.
Yeah, right you are. And these fullbacks for Virginia Beach have done a terrific job at keeping Salaman Abdul Mateen and Mo Tucker, 2 big attacking threats in the Charlottesville lineup, quiet. But the same can be said down the flanks for Charlottesville, as it took one moment of individual brilliance from the opposing captain, Moody, to finally set up the right winger, Campbell, to score that goal. Here come the Blues down the right flank. Here is Abdul Mateen. Jaisei Bailey. Abdul Mateen pushed off the ball by Moody, and United wins it back again. Starting the half off on the front foot. Franco Trodati now. Forward now. And some shouts for handball from PK Stoffel there, but to no avail. Trodati. Clumsy giveaway there from Abdul Mateen. Charging in now is Nick Simmons. Simmons trying to keep the ball. Some nice footwork there from Charlottesville's number 21. Making his way round into some space. Keeps the attack alive to let some other members of his team join him here. Not a Sincom. Back to Sloan. To Tucker now. Tucker trying to work on Jonathan Lighting. He's being double-teamed, though. It delivers that back out to Sloan. Sloan with a cross looking for Simmons. Headed over the top of the Charlottesville attacking trio. And Sam Murphy will kick that one wide for a Charlottesville throw. Wasting no time at all. Good show of authority here for the Blues. Dougal. Authority and urgency. Yoder. Over to Sloan. In towards Simmons. Back to Sloan now. Taking their time, picking their moments here. Donovan Marriott. And that's just going to trickle out wide. It didn't look like a shot.
Yeah, not quite sure how to describe that one, but it almost came close to testing.
It almost dropped.
Potter, but
not sure what the plan was there.
But regardless, just a few moments back off that turnover, I thought the Blues had a good opportunity for a man advantage, but Simmons kind of just took himself on the wrong angle. But regardless, you're going to see as United drops a little bit deeper in these moments of transition or turnovers in their own half that the Blues will have plenty of opportunities to cross. It's just about that final ball, and can you get on the head of Zomber Paul, because he's a big body in there and can make life difficult for these center backs.
Yeah, can you really say that they've made their man advantage count up to this point in the half? It really hasn't. United has played in such a fashion that it does not look like they're playing with 10 men. Doesn't feel like they're playing with 10 men either.
Yeah, absolutely. You haven't really seen these waves of pressure yet from the Blues in terms of turnovers, winning the ball up high. And despite maybe a thinner midfield, it's still a lot of effort out of the United squad.
Gallagher will pick that one up as Jack Lewis had an idea about going down the right flank looking for Campbell, but nothing there. Here's Donovan Marriott. Into Joshua Yoder. Robert Sloan. That's not a bad ball. Looking for Mo Tucker. Charging inward towards the box. Does find Tucker. Good footwork. Insane footwork from Tucker. Can he find the cross? Nope. It does go out for a Charlottesville throw. What a class bit of dribbling there from Tucker.
And at some moments, especially early on in the second half, that's what it's going to take. Maybe just that little bit of creativity. And we know Mo Tucker can bring that. He's a handful on that left-hand side. Abdul Mateen paired with him on that right. And obviously Abdul Mateen with 2 games with back-to-back goals. And they're going to be looking to kind of take their men on in these transition moments.
Yeah, it took a great burst of speed. Just a light as a feather touch from Tucker there, and then the terrific cut back and back heel to turn his man, and then charging forward into some space to try to find that cross, but looked as though he was closed down in just the nick of time before he can make the pass that he actually wanted to make. But free kick here, Charlottesville, in the Virginia Beach third. Tucker and not a Sincom standing over this. Not a Sincom to take. Cross in is low. And it's set up perfectly. But the shot goes wide. Looked as though Donovan Marriott was the one that had his right foot on that effort. Not a bad one, but he is denied by the post.
Well, he made up for that questionable effort just a few minutes ago with that one from the top of the box on a bit of a rebound, crashing off that right post. But this Charlottesville squad, you can see that they have all the tools to make a comeback in this game, not just because there are 10 men for United, but they have the wingers with the pace, with the creativity to beat their men and put in balls into the box. You see the free kicks, and as well, the striker up top, the big physical body. There's different routes that they can take to be able to claw their way back into this game. It's just about not getting too frustrated and not trying to switch it up each and every time they have an attacking sequence.
That will definitely set the coaching staff's mind at ease as Zomber Paul will win another free kick in a similar position to the moment ago that allowed Marriott to make that effort. Nanasinkham will stand over it himself. Marriott and Save Bailey remaining back. It's quite spread out. Lays it off for Marriott. Leaves it for Say Bailey. Now Sloan was looking for Tucker. A shout for handball. Doesn't get it. And Virginia Beach ball. But Sloan comes in at just the right time. And it lays off for Dugald. Dugald into the box to Sloan. Sloan lays off for Simmons. Simmons was looking for that one more pass. It finds no one. But Nanasinkham. A light effort at goal. Griffin Potter equal to that. And another good opportunity for the Blues goes lacking.
Absolutely. Dugald at the center of everything, trying to set up Tucker. Eventually, he gets to another one of his teammates, but I would love to see Simmons shoot that ball there. I think just a little bit too cute in the box. Had enough passes, beat that back line. And at some point, you just have to kind of take a shot on target, test the goalkeeper. They have the time to, obviously, of course, try and come back into this game, but need to kind of be a little bit more decisive in that final phase of play.
34 minutes to find an equalizer and ideally a winner. This one will be quite painful for the Blues if they end up losing it, because it looked for a lion's share of the first half, easily about 40 minutes, that they were the better team. Paul. Nanasinkham. Abdul Mateen now. Under pressure. Tries to find his way round. Does so. An excellent, excellent control. Nanasinkham beats his man, sending Murphy down to the ground. Marcus Nanasinkham lays it up for Paul. A great effort, just a bit wide.
Abdul Mateen, you could see that he's a man in form, with confidence, taking on his defenders. And the United player there, thinking he got elbowed or something like that on the go-around.
Murphy was holding his hand, and I think he might have felt like he got stomped on. But the stoppage will continue for just a little bit longer. The training staff is going to take a look at his right hand. He's arguing about something. He seems to think some sort of infraction did occur, but nothing doing.
He'll have to be off to the side for a moment.
That'll
be 9 men.
I was going to say, that'll make it 9 men for VB United right now. Can they make this opportunity count?
That's even thinner midfield now, and see how long Murphy is being evaluated. Tucker looking to make a diagonal run, but not found there.
Dugald, Sloan, Yoder. They might have actually been waiting to launch an attack out of respect, which is a classy move in terms of sportsmanship,
Could be,
though frustrating for the fans. Now they'll advance as Murphy returns to the field. Simmons leaves that one a little bit to be desired. And it will be goal kick VB after what was an intriguing sequence of play.
And absolutely, we've seen a couple of chances now at the top of the box where they've had time and space to really pick their spot and shoot it from distance, and just has been off target there.
Potter
just needs that execution, needs that composure.
And Murphy immediately resumes having a presence in this game. Good speed, charging forward down the left flank. Moody lays it off and gives it back to him, but J.C. Bailey reads that one well. knocks that one away under threat for a VBU throw-in. Moody will take this one. Trinidadi charging. Or no, he will lay it off for the left back. Sends that one towards the direction of the 18. And now another United player down. That one, a false alarm, however. PK Stoffel seems to be okay. Now free kick on the edge of the 18. Trinidadi and Moody standing over it. What a goal this would be if they can nab this, especially one man down. Crossed in for Moody. It's a ping pong and knocked away.
Incredible. That looked like it surely went over the line, but seems like a last-ditch clearance. Not sure by who.
That was actually, at least from my vantage point, that looked as though it was Gallagher who got the last hand to it. So really, really good split-second communication between him, Marcus Nanasinkham, and Robert Sloan. But it will be a corner for Virginia Beach. Goes to the near post. Knocked away. Campbell will make a pretty good effort towards goal, but right at Gallagher. A very nervy moment for the Charlottesville defense, but encouraging that they were able to get out of it unscathed. And now a trio of subs preparing on the Charlottesville sideline.
Absolutely. That would have been a killing blow. And you saw the United players almost half celebrating, thinking it went over the line. But Gallagher able to get away with that, and he's been thrown into the fire with replacing his brother early on in the first half.
Samuel Murphy breaking with some pace for United, but the layoff is leaving a little to be desired. Marcus Nanasinkham leaving it for Simmons, who has had a really great battle with Moody all game long. Simmons wins this throw-in. See who's getting ready on the Charlottesville bench.
Seems like the Portuguese duo in Freitas and Conde, which will certainly add a lot of firepower to this attack. We'll see who they replace, though, because there's a lot of, honestly, not that many spots up for grabs in terms of the performances so far tonight out of this front line. Maybe not a goal so far, but a lot of inspiring performances.
You know, it may be one of the midfielders who will be going out here, as this is a promising chance for Charlottesville. Dugald working on Lewis, but it deflects right in the direction of Potter. Zach Martins, Alfonso Conde, and João Freitas making ready to enter for Charlottesville. But as my partner said, you would be hard-pressed to be able to answer for whom at this point. Everyone does not look like they've lost a whole lot of energy in this game.
That's true. You could say maybe coach trying to preserve a little bit because of the midweek game earlier. But the energy has certainly been there in a lot of spots that players have been fighting for, maybe not really deserving of losing that spot at the moment.
Martins seems like a fairly cut and dry substitute for Nanasinkham. He's had a great game so far, but maybe lacking just a little bit. Now, we'll find out for sure. Say Bailey will exit. That will likely be Freitas' spot. It will be Abdul Mateen exiting for Conde. And Nanasinkham, Abdul Mateen, and Say Bailey are the three out.
Zachary Martins replacing number 12, Marquez Nanasinkham. All in the 64th minute.
It seems like potentially Conde in for that spot for Abdul Mateen, and then maybe Yoder slotting into the middle of that back line with Freitas now acting as that right wing back, as is his usual role in this setup.
And that is probably the right call to make here. if being forced to make a change, that is probably the change you want to make. You leave your attack largely unchanged. Abdul Mateen is at a frustrating day. He's really the only attacker in this Charlottesville side who has. And then you add the unique creativity that Alfonso Conde brings down that right flank, alongside Zomber and Simmons. And this is pretty much your ideal attacking trio for Charlottesville. But again, here comes United in the Charlottesville box. This is a good clearance, but only as far as Jack Lewis for United. Pings it in toward Campbell. Sloan fights hard and wins the ball. Sends it free, but a clumsy bit of footwork there from Dugald is able to set up a bad giveaway for United. Can they make it count? No. Tradati was lurking at the edge of the box, and that's just going to ultimately go out for what appears to be a Virginia Beach corner, but a bad giveaway from Graham Dugald due to just some clumsy footwork nullifies the great clearance from Robert Sloan, and Charlottesville's defense once again forced, to find a way out of a jam.
Absolutely. And another set piece here for the Blues to deal with. They've been kind of struggling on those to start this second half.
Cross comes in towards the back post. Dealt with by Gallagher. But good speed from Sam Murphy is going to close down Alfonso Conde's way forward. This is cleared in the direction of Paul. Good footwork from him. Is able to corral the pass and try to set up another charge here for the Blues. Down the left flank goes Mo Tucker. Gives it back to Robert Sloan. Zach Martins finding his way into the game now. Martins. An open area for Freitas, but the pass can't quite get there. Virginia Beach throw in here, won well by Jack Lewis. What a performance here from United here in the second half. A man down, and they were playing like they've got about 13 on the pitch right now.
Absolutely. The time has flown by as well. We're about halfway into the second half, and they still continue to send a decent amount of numbers forward, especially on those set pieces. They're really exposing themselves with potential counterattacks out of the Blues, but nothing has been going their way so far on those after the corner kicks thus far.
Ping pong will be going the way of the Blues. Short free kick taken from Freitas. Yoder now over to Dugald. Charlottesville's captain. Up across midfield. Now towards Tucker. Back to Yoder now. Simmons. Lays it back off Conde, and Simmons tried to give it back to him, but Conde was already running, and nothing doing there. Back to Zach Martins. Delivers to Donovan Marriott, the man who's had the most promising effort of a half for the Blues. And he's a central defender. Martins finds his way past his man. Going to lay that one in the direction of Tucker, but Jonathan Lighting able to deal with it with ease. Back heel, corralled by Tucker. Still fighting for it, but requires a second intervention. Yoder. And body in the way for Alexander Moody. Tried to charge forward, but nothing doing. Free kick taken. Oh, no. Free kick was a little further up. Now they'll take it short. And on comes Dugald. Forward looking for Paul, but it is dealt with well by United's defense. Alfonso Conde now with it. Gives it back over to Dugald. Lays it off for Simmons. Simmons turns his man and does so. But the whistle goes. And officials conferring with one another. Card is out for Sam Murphy. That will set up a free kick for the Blues.
Well, that was a bit of a late call. I think the Blues players a little bit upset because they wanted that advantage. Simmons had with a really nice move to beat his man, turn that corner, and could have either really attempted a pretty good open shot or laid it off to someone, but Still, you get a set piece here, and it's on Freitas to deliver.
Stoppage there likely occurring because Jack Lewis was down on the ground for a while after taking a knock to the head. João Freitas will stand over it. Murphy in dangerous territory now with the yellow card. Freitas. Threatening ball. No effort made on goal yet, though. And a really hefty challenge made there by Campbell, and another card given to a Virginia Beach player. And I think that might have gone against Jack Lewis. That one a little more difficult to see than the previous infraction. Alexander Moody is there arguing the case for his players. But either way, yellow card given. We'll await clarification on it. Free kick Blues in front of the 18, about 5 yards in front of the 18.
And the yellow cards keep piling up for United, and it's going to make that really difficult for this midfield to kind of step into challenges and put their imprint on this game in the final 20 minutes. Might be seeing this squad drop just a little bit deeper as the clock ticks down as well.
And that was actually 2 yellow cards given. One to Lewis and the other to the captain, Moody. And that is very dangerous now. Already down to 10 men. 3 players on yellows right now. And a substitution will now be made. It will be Stoffel who makes way. Stoffel who makes way, excuse me. And Daniel Grider will enter for United. So a good position here for the Blues to try to make something happen. They're big man up to try to put a header on goal that will test Griffin Potter. Mo Tucker standing over it very briefly, but it will be Graham Dougal to take. Dougal will make an effort himself from distance. Now lays it off for Martins. Martins down to Freitas. Freitas tries the low ball in, read perfectly there by Jack Lewis. Martins gives that back to Tucker, who returns it to him.
I'm fairly positive that's not what Freitas was looking for, just not getting enough lift on some of these balls into the box, and just as well Dougal not being able to beat the wall whatsoever. Had Tucker as an option, a sneaky option on the left with that wall kind of confined to itself. And these set pieces just going for naught at the moment.
Well, lots of referee-related drama as this cross goes into Zomber Paul. It is laid off for Condé, who takes a great shot, but right at Potter.
Got a lot on that, but the placement, easy to deal with for Potter.
Well, if you are just joining us, what a match it is that you have missed. 1-0 our score, as you can see on the scoreboard in the corner of your screen. In favor of the visiting Virginia Beach United, they were able to nab a goal in the dying moments of the first half and then promptly lost the man to 2 yellow cards. Charlottesville had the lion's share of the possession and played the more clinical of the two sides for about 43 minutes of that first half. But so far, United has weathered the storm beautifully, playing exceptionally well without their 11th man. Has looked at points that they may be getting that second goal even. And Charlottesville has struggled to find promising looks at goal. But now, United might be running out of magic pixie dust. With 3 men on yellow cards already, 1 man out of the game already on his red card. And one of those men on yellow cards is their captain, who has an assist today, Alexander Moody. Still plenty of twists and turns left in this one. Alfonso Condé here for Charlottesville. 2 men on him, and he keeps the ball. Dougal. Back to Ryan Gallagher. Another central figure in this drama, substituted in about midway through that first half for his brother Colin. That's a great pass down here to Nick Simmons, charging in to the Virginia Beach third. It's a great cross, but knocked away by Baxter Hurt. Ball still alive. Daniel Grider trying to find his way forward. No way through with the big body of Donovan Marriott in his way. Here's Graham Dugald, the captain for Charlottesville. Gives to João Freitas. Freitas was looking for Conde, but he was trying to stay on side and couldn't quite time his run right to get on the end of that pass. Goal kick for United, approaching the 75-minute mark.
That's certainly one, once again, that the Blues will be looking to have back, but it's once again on them to keep this from being too scrappy or too broken up of a game where United is just able to send goal kick after goal kick or keep the game on the wide channels and just have throw-ins. And it was a really good actually moment from Paul there about a minute back that started that whole entire sequence, keeping the ball in play and allowed them to have that wave of pressure.
Edmondson and Hurt have done very well in the center of Virginia Beach's defense all match long, but perhaps they may be running out of gas just a little bit as another stoppage here between Lewis and Moody. Simmons getting involved again, and that's been one of the most intriguing matchups to watch all game long between Nick Simmons and Alexander Moody in the midfield. Simmons has really made his presence known ever since getting into this side a couple matches ago. Great job from Martins to clear that one out of danger off his line. It breaks friendly here for Nick Simmons. Sends a long ball looking for Alfonso Conde. It's weighed well, and the young Portuguese able to get on the other end of it, but the bad pass. He was looking for his friend Freitas charging in behind, but it bounces for Graham Dugald, and Charlottesville still on the attack. Conde. Good move here to find Dugald. Down to Conde. To Freitas. Marriott now. To Yoder. Over to Sloan now. For Martins. Sloan is actually in the Virginia Beach box. Tries to find the cross. Does stay in play, but only for a moment, and it trickles out for another goal kick. Robert Sloan even bamboozled the commentators up here. Just out of nowhere finding his way into the attacking third.
And that's what the Blues will have to do, throw more players into the box and just up high that maybe aren't used to being in those positions, but it's going to be necessary if they want to get anything out of this game.
Charlottesville looking to prep another, what appears to be set of substitutions. Conde. To Marriott.
At this point, that mindset could just potentially shift to just, can we at least get a draw out of this with the time clicking down?
And substitutions will be made. 3 of them in point of fact. Samuel Vigilante, Sam Roberson, and Evan Fiedler, all entering for Charlottesville. And exiting are Robert Sloan, Graham Dugald, and Mo Tucker. Yet again, the attack remains largely the same. Roberson will be slotting in Tucker's spot.
Substitutions for your Charlottesville Blues.
And maybe this will add some fresh legs into the quest for an equalizer.
Replacing number 20, Mohamed Tucker. Entering the game number 18,
Yoder.
Samuel Vigilante. Replacing number 10, Graham Dugald.
Martins.
Entering game number 23, Evan Fiedler. Replacing number
Now
5,
Vigilante. Now we're starting to see the shape of the Charlottesville attack trying to send as many men forward as they can. Urgency absolutely in play right now. Vigilante. Not a properly weighted ball to find the charging Roberson, and yet another goal kick.
And I personally don't really think it's been a matter of fresh legs or tiredness despite that midweek game. It's just been, once again, the lack of execution. Everything else has been there, but from United's perspective, they've put away their one high-quality chance, and almost got that other one across the line. It just comes down to those few moments, of course. What matters at the end of the day, it's a results-based sport and business. And at the moment, the Blues just haven't pieced it together in those final moments.
You are right. They really have done enough, United. And if the match ended right now, they would be very, very satisfied with themselves. And completely, fairly so. So, Lucas White will enter the game for United. And making way is Thomas Campbell, the goal scorer, who has been threatening all match long. Has done pretty much everything right that he can. Even the runs that he made in which no passes reached him were the right runs to try to cause problems for the Charlottesville defense. And then he did once, as Camille mentioned, in that quality chance that has so far been the difference with 10 minutes left in this match. Baxter Hurt heads that one away. Throw in for Charlottesville. Knocked towards the middle. And now headed towards the center. Marriott. Martins. Now Fiedler. Back to Yoder. And now Marriott. Taking their time here. Martins. It's good, slow, controlled passing here from the Blues. Just trying to maneuver the defensive shape of their opponents around. Roberson will unfortunately lose control and will have to fight his way back to try to win the ball in the scrum. And it goes the way of the visitors. Only for just a moment as White tried to pass that one to a friendly pair of boots and nothing doing. Blues coming once more. Freitas charging down the right flank. Good pass from Vigilante to find him. Gives it back to Vigilante. Nice 1-2. Freitas charging onto the end of it, but he ran out of room. And it will be goal kick. To United. As Freitas is very kind to place that one right on the 6-yard box for the opposing keeper.
Yeah, looking to rush things for sure because the quality, once again, in those final passes hasn't been there. So looking to keep United from time wasting too much. But from United's perspective, it's been just about how they would have wanted this second half to play out. I wouldn't say there's been an overwhelming amount of possession for the Blues, and United has been fighting for a lot of these second balls and just making it life difficult on the wide channels for the Blues.
And Marriott's going to lose that one to Murphy, but Freitas able to take that one right back. And now I think you probably have to play, unless something changes in the next 2 minutes or so, you probably have to start playing for the draw, as you said a few minutes ago. And that ball from Simmons is going to be just enough to find Roberson. What can Roberson do? He lays it off for Vigilante. Vigilante still with it, but he loses control. Only for a second, it breaks friendly for Roberson. Roberson does have men in the box, but the cross comes too late, and that's knocked away. Martins. And that one over to Gallagher, who's charged forward to mop that one up. Marriott. Simmons. Ken battling with Moody, as he has done all game long. Tries to lay it off for Freitas, but Moody reads that well and takes it for himself. White. Murphy. Back to Moody. Moody tries to turn and draws the foul from Freitas. Free kick here to United, and they can do yet more wasting as Murphy goes down to stretch. And little transparent in terms of the break here. And they're just kind of letting this one happen.
Check out their happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Great deals on drinks.
Yeah, we'll see how much at a time we get with these.
This
breaks.
is not a scheduled water break.
No.
As we are...
United making the most of this
about an hour and 45 from kickoff when you count the interval. 84 minutes gone, 1-0 in favor of Virginia Beach United. Thomas Campbell's goal, the difference. That came back towards the end of the first half. Red card for Sharif Mohammed. Thought that might have made a difference in the Blues' ability to find their way back into this match, but so far it has not. 6 minutes for that to change, however, for the home side. Fiedler. Still Fiedler. Roberson. That's knocked back. And it finds Zach Martins. Martins over to Yoder. Now into Vigilante. Freitas. Freitas wastes no time. Sends the cross in. It does find Simmons, but he can't find the angle. Inside of the last 5 minutes of regulation before stoppage time begins. Simmons able to win that one, and parries off of a Virginia Beach defender. Waited for Freitas. Freitas going to try for it. He goes down and was not able to keep his foot off of it. Goal kick for United, and another United player down.
Seems like an injury off the ball.
Yeah, off the ball. Jack Lewis he has taken his lumps throughout this match. I will give him that. But again, the referee forced to try to get this thing to move on here. It does seem to be rather generous with the time wasting here. Now Alfonso Conde arriving on the scene to try to figure out what is taking so long.
This would obviously be an unbelievable result for Virginia Beach should they hold on for this win with 10 men for 45 minutes. It would make it now 3 clean sheets as well in 4 matches should they hold on, with the only real thorn in their side being that draw versus Lionsbridge. And Lionsbridge, of course, one of the mammoths of this Chesapeake division. So all things considered, an unbelievably good start in terms of challenging for one of those top seeds in the division.
Yeah, absolutely. And lest we forget, to add on to the impressive qualifications and the impressive parts of what will likely be a match victory if this holds on, they got 3 other men in the referee's book on yellow cards. And they were still able to play clean with 10 men in this second half without allowing Charlottesville back into the game. That might still change here in the dying minutes of this one. But 2.5 minutes left of regulation plus stoppage time. 1-0 our score. United still playing for that second goal. Evan Fiedler's going to run this one down and quickly throw it in. He, of all people, knows how little time is left. Marriott did have a strong chance that he was unable to put away about midway through the second half. Moody loses the ball there.
Clock will stop at 90 minutes. Time will be kept on the field by the referee.
But last touched off of Charlottesville, and Franco Trodati will throw this one in. He does so quickly, looking for Lucas White. It bounces out again. Trodati will take the throw again. His captain tells him to look long. Look long he does. Finds Lucas White. White tries to turn. Nothing doing. Yoder closes it down. And forward come the Blues again. How far will they get, though? Freitas. To Marriott. Over to Fiedler. Yoder. Now Marriott into some space. Down to Freitas. That's a good pass. Freitas is closed down by Trodati, and he does just enough to keep it in. Deft footwork from the Virginia Beach defender. 1 minute left of regulation. Trodati. Only as far as Martins can't control it, though. And that is shoved out for a Virginia Beach throw.
You can see the frustration from Martins there with just 30 seconds of regulation remaining. Surely think we'll see at least a handful of added minutes, but the clock is ticking, and we just really haven't seen any clear-cut chances from the Blues in the past 10 minutes.
Yeah, chance at 3 points definitely away from them, but a chance for at least one as this match comes to a close. Another heartbreaking result in as many trips home for the Blues so far this season.
Yeah, for whatever reason, just not able to really figure it out at home, and have had their best results on the road, obviously, with the win at Christos and at least a draw at the Marauders, which they were leading 2-1, but gave away that late goal. But here at home, it's been tough sledding. Just now, 1 goal through 3 games if this result is to hold.
Waiting for the fourth official's signal, as it will be a goal kick. Noble attempt from Freitas to try to make something happen there, but his effort went wide. Yoder. Over to Fiedler. Now to Marriott.
The fourth official has indicated 6 minutes of stoppage time.
And there is the signal. 6 minutes remain for the Blues to try to salvage something from this match. Give goes up to Paul. Paul goes down. Foul was clean, as White also goes down. And we'll have another stoppage here, as I think Tommy DiNuzzo was looking for some kind of clarification from the referee, and it will be a member of the Blues coaching staff who goes into the book now.
I believe that's Travis Brown.
Yeah, right, you are.
Who actually put in a shift earlier today in the under-23 game that the Blues squad had, in, I believe, a 7-0 win against not Virginia Beach United, against Churchland SL. Played about, I think, a half at center back, so
emotions may be running high already after a long day today.
long day for him, and certainly not the end to it that he would have liked getting in the book.
Yeah,
and at this point, this is exactly what Virginia Beach wants, right?
This is a really chaotic scene here on the Charlottesville sideline. The entire staff riled up. They clearly have not jibed at all with the game that the referee has called up to this point. Just no chances going their way, as Yoder under pressure from White will get that away from Gallagher. Tries to find Simmons. Roberson a little too heavy on the header. Simmons gives that away over to Marriott. 6 minutes of stoppage time, just about a minute and a half of it gone. Might even see a little bit more due to the yellow card for the member of the Blues coaching staff who went into the book. Pass delayed, and it gets knocked back to Gallagher. Gallagher will knock it down, and they'll try again. Couple more desperate attempts remaining to try to puncture the wall. The red wall has held up to this point. A truly splendid result for the visitors here on the road. Going down to 10 men, getting just the goal that they needed. And they will be riding high after this one. They will be clear of Charlottesville by a full point now. Or rather by 3, excuse me. They entered today even on goal difference alone, or ahead rather on goal difference alone. They were even on points. BB United looks to take sole possession of third place, though, should this result hold, and it looks as though it will. That is, unless the Blues find their way through. Pass from Marriott goes lacking from Alfonso Conde. And this attack has tried just about everything to try to puncture this defense, and has come up completely empty. Potter taking his time. What a performance he's had between the sticks. Took him a little while to actually be troubled by the Charlottesville attack, but indefinitely he was tested. And he passed the test.
Absolutely. Only a few more touches here, surely, before the final whistle, and it'll be yet another home loss, it's looking like, for the Blues.
And that pass goes wayward from Zach Martins. Blues trying to find a little bit of space going forward here. Roberson hawking up a lung to try to get on the other end of that ball. He does keep it alive. It gives to Simmons. Simmons, who has been very, very nasty and strong in attack for the Blues all match long today. Nothing to show for his efforts. And that one will go to Vigilante. Out to Roberson. Cross comes in, and it's a shot. Save made by Potter. A great effort from Josh Yoder. This match may not yet be over. Gallagher charging forward for what looks to be the last attack of the match for the Blues. Can they salvage a point? Can they avoid heartbreak here at home? Corner comes in. It's high. Going towards the far post. Roberson heads it back in. It finds the foot of Vigilante. Gallagher towards the line. He retreats back. It may yet come for the Blues yet. Sam Roberson going forward. He's tackled. It's cleared away. The whistle goes. And Virginia Beach United completes a stellar 3-point result over the Blues of Charlottesville, 1-0. An action-packed match that has had just about everything. The home side started out strong. They made it 40 minutes, spending plenty of time making trouble for the Virginia Beach defense. They looked like they weren't quite ready. It only was 3 matches in this season for them. But they took their time, started probing their way through, and then a moment of brilliance, a moment of excellent quality from the captain of Virginia Beach United, Alexander Moody. Sets up Thomas Campbell, shoots straight through the center of the Charlottesville defense, heads it on past Ryan Gallagher, and that was the difference. Despite even going down to 10 men, and having 3 other players going into the referee's book on yellow cards, United will escape with a well-earned 3 points, Camille.
Absolutely, and once again, it's just, you can't say it was a lack of opportunities for the Blues once again in this match, but the finishing, once again, a critical difference on home field, and the look ahead to Northern Virginia rematch from the opening day for the Blues, where they drew 0-0. They have another short turnaround after the past midweek having an away game. They travel once again away, and is going to have to find that balance between getting players minutes, but also keeping that sort of chemistry and continuity as this challenging start to the season continues.
That one comes your way next Wednesday on Sports Engine Play. Camille has had a very long day. Bravo to you on an excellent afternoon of broadcasting, and hopefully you have enjoyed every single minute of the football you have seen from Charlottesville High School here today. From the women's match, this match, and of course the under-23 match that happened at the start of the afternoon. It's been a action-packed day, a beautiful day, and we will see you next time here from Charlottesville High School. Again, the Blues play next Wednesday at Northern Virginia away. And that is going to do it for us here on a beautiful Saturday night from Charlottesville High School Stadium. For Camille Good, I am Marshall Amert. Thank you very much for watching USL2 action. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and thank you for the pleasure of your company these last 90 minutes. We'll see you next time. Blues lose 1-0.